Our first lesson will deal with setting up the screen. This is taking the TablEdit program as it is downloaded to you and arranging the display where you will be comfortable working with it. We will be covering 4 different areas in this lesson. First, separating the components. Second, selecting a background color. Third, arranging our palettes. And then last, adjusting the tablature line and the ruler. Remember, as we go through this lesson, you can put it on pause at any time, go to your TablEdit program, work with it, and when you're ready, come back to the lesson and resume it. When you first download the TablEdit program, you're going to have a screen that looks something like this. You're going to have all of the components of your program piled on top of each other in the middle of your screen. I believe the reason they do this is because people use different monitors and have different screen resolutions, and they want to make sure that all the components fit in the middle of your monitor. The first thing we want to do is we want to spread these out so we can see all the different components. We'll take our arrow and we'll highlight the blue, left click, drag it down, and we'll do this with each one of our components. That way we'll have get everything separated. You will also have a ruler, and you can move the ruler by highlighting the ruler where you end up with 2 arrows, left click, and you can actually move this ruler wherever you want it. Now we have all of our components separated to where we can see what we have. The next thing we want to do is change our background color. If you're like me, you're going to spend a lot of time working with this program, arranging music, and you're not going to want to look at this white background for very long. So what we want to do is we want to come up here where the X is, which is our options, click that open, go to our screen, come down to background color, and as you see here, we have many different types of colors we can use for a background color. Or if we don't want to use one of these basic colors, we can come over here and we can click anywhere in this area and you'll see different colors coming up here. This is kind of a trial and error type of thing. After a good long time of weird colors, I finally found something I liked, and by using this red, green, and blue box, I can get the exact colors that I like. And what I do is I enter 196 into each one of these boxes. The red, the green, and the blue at 196. And as you can see, I come up with a gray color. You can click OK, apply, click this off, and now we have a nice gray background. Of course, the color you want will be up to you, and you'll just have to use trial and error to come up with a color that you like. So now we have set up our screen to where we can see all the different components of it. Now the last thing we want to deal with in this section is to decide what we want to do with our palettes. There's several things we can do with our palettes. We can eliminate them if we're not going to use them. We can move them around. We can dock them up either along the side, the bottom, or the top to move them out of the way to give us a little bit more room. I think the first thing we want to do is get rid of some of the palettes that we're not going to be using in this study. The first thing we want to get rid of is the keyboard, because we're not going to be using it. Another thing which we're not going to be using right away will be the fingering and the dynamics. That's going to leave us with 3 palettes that we'll be using. We can move these around so they can sit anywhere we want on the screen, or if we double click these, you see what happens? They move down to the bottom. If you don't want them at the bottom, you can take the double line here, click on it, move it back up, or you can move it clear up to this area here, and we can have them at the top. We can do the same with all these. We can move them all up here to the top. Now we have all of our palettes at the top. We can take our ruler and get our double arrowed line, and we can move it wherever we want it. We can move it down further. If we feel we need more room between these 2 sections, we can do our double line on this little square here, and we can move it down. And then we can put our ruler in the middle. We can move our components around just about any way we want to suit us. If we want, we can take our palettes, click on the double line, and we can actually put those over on the side. We could take this one here, and we could put it over on this side. And then we could leave this one at the top. Actually, this is the way I prefer to set up my screen. While I'm arranging music, I spend a lot of time dealing with these notes, and ever so often I will use this toolbar or this toolbar. But by separating them like this, you spread them out, and you have a better idea of where everything is that you need to work on.